Now I want to turn Neil Stays to the other topic, which is these Trump aides who are closer to criminal contempt charges in the January 6th probe. This is a developing story you've probably heard about, but there's new developments tonight because the House Rules Committee has now just voted along party lines 9-4, advancing the contempt resolution for the full House. You may recall the committee, the January 6th Special Impaneled Committee, held proceedings on this and voted on it. They had a unanimous recommendation where Chair Thompson made clear all individuals have an obligation to comply with lawful subpoenas.
Mr. Scavino and Mr. Navarro have a legal obligation to comply with the congressional subpoenas issued by the Select Committee. Instead, they're acting like they believe they are above the law.
The committee says they're not above the law, and one of the sticking points does involve some of our coverage, because Peter Navarro discussed under questioning his attempt to halt the certification of Trump's loss when I interviewed him on the beat. The January 6th committee found that to be relevant. They submitted it as part of the evidence for his contempt proceeding in that hearing last week.
I have so much knowledge to share with you about what I was involved in and what I know.
If you say all those things out here, why risk a legal battle or going to jail to refuse to discuss them with the committee under oath?
Because I have a loyalty to the Constitution and a loyalty to the President. The President has invoked executive privilege in this matter. It's not my authority to revoke that privilege.
That's part of the evidence the committee provided. They also have their own research, of course. They have an investigative product, a text message that went to Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, just days before the insurrection that said, Mark, I'm reaching out because I have details on a call Navarro helped convene as part of the effort to get Pence to delay certification of the election, including that the president participated. The committee's contempt recommendation is moving forward now, and sources tell the New York Times that President Biden is really aghast that so many people around Trump are defying subpoenas. He does not even understand how they think they can do so. Neil is here for this. What do you see in the House moving forward today on the contempt? And if Joe Biden thinks this is so illegal, will his administration be able to enforce consequences?
Well, Ari, as the great Taylor Swift says, I think we've seen this movie before. We've had other contempt votes for exactly this thing. Steve Bannon found in contempt, and Mark Meadows found by Congress in contempt. Bannon's already facing a Justice Department prosecution for exactly this thing, invoking executive privilege. It's such a tired argument. All the Trump people have invoked it. They've lost it time and again, including 8-1 in the Supreme Court. They haven't managed to get 63 losses the way they did with the election, bogus litigation, but they're working their way there. And Ari, as you say, the Navarro one is even a weaker claim than Bannon's and these other folks who've already lost. And it's weaker for two reasons. One, because of your masterful interview in getting Navarro to basically admit these details, that he was, essentially plotting a soft coup, but also because he wrote a book about it. And, you can't claim something as privileged and secret and then write a book and blab about it with you on national TV. I mean, part of me wonders whether his book agent convinced him to bait this contempt proceeding just so that someone would buy a copy of Navarro's book.
And that's a fair question. We may never know. I mentioned that he agreed initially to come on with us the day after the House vote and then pulled out of that interview. If he does return to interviews, we could talk to him again. But those are open questions. The way that the Trump January 6th message has changed from ducking and minimizing at first to now often embracing the violence and embracing the idea that they can just end democracy in America is really striking to behold, because it has profound implications as we go forward to future elections. It got the SNL treatment in ways that were both funny but relevant, because people may recognize the tick of folks basically admitting the coup plots on air. This was their Trump impersonator doing it over the weekend. Take a look.
No, you know what? There was no coup. It was an event, perhaps a take-back event, a coup, perhaps. But I don't like coup. I just don't like coup. I don't like the P at the end of coup. I think you should take that P and push it. We're pushing P. Of course, if you take off P from coup, you have cow, which goes moo, which, you know, perhaps that's where they get coup. But do coup, who do? You do. Do what? Remind me of the Babe. But yes, in many ways, it was an intentional planned coup, yes.
It was an intentional planned coup. Yes. Your thoughts, Neil?
You want me to react to that, Ari? So, look, I think the only thing one can do is laugh. It's such a sad state for our democracy that we don't have basic agreement, that we have one major political party that's captured by extremist elements and this kind of nonsense. And, you know, the beauty of things like what I do, the Supreme Court, is that we resolve our disputes by words and argument and reason. And unfortunately, that hasn't been happening in Washington, particularly in the Congress. And, you know, my hope is, just to return full circle to Justice Jackson's, you know, now likely confirmation, someone like her can help bring this country together. We should all be proud of this moment. It's truly historic. And I think that she will have the gravitas and the love of the American people to try and reduce some of these tensions in our society.